is to remove my old factory header. So I'll take all these screws out, remove that, drill these rivets out to remove this piece because we don't need that bow, and pull that header out, and then I'll have the header to mate to that one. I think they recommend a 3/16 drill bit. You're just drilling out these rivets, so you know, whatever size you need to drill that out. But if you've ever drilled out a rivet, you know that it doesn't matter that much. Then that header should just pull right off of there. And it does. And now I have just the regular old header. All right, we're gonna put the new bows on. There we go. All right, so you put these in with these little self-threading screws on either side. I'm gonna assume that's the only other screws they gave me. And there goes that grass cutting son of a bitch again. All right, the header's done. Knobs point inward. There is a difference between driver and passenger based on the placement of the hole. As far as how deep it is in this bow, so pay attention to that. All right, as you can see, there's predetermined holes that match up to holes in the header, and you just reuse the original screws, or you can get some new screws if you want. I will be reusing the original screws. I may go ahead and punch a few extra holes that line up to some of these other ones. Maybe right here, just in the middle, for a little extra support. But I probably won't put every one back in, because that will still be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That'll still be 11 screws holding this in. That should be sufficient. I mean, after all, it's going to be clamped down pretty hard to the windshield. So I'll zip those screws in and I'll show you what it looks like after. All right, I've got it screwed in. I added a couple extra screws. I did have to drill out a little bit on this plastic, because if you put it even adjusted, because you want to put the screws in halfway all the way across and then tighten them down once you get everything in there. Even with it like that though, they still, the distance between the holes, even the slotted holes, wasn't enough, or it was too much, and it was causing this to bunch up. So to get it laid down flat, I had to adjust that hole just slightly on a couple of them, but they're all in there. They all fit fine. That's the idea behind this. Just to mount this bracket here, and they give you some very specific directions. You put the L on the inside. They want it to be 18.5 millimeters in from the edge, and the first hole 9.5 millimeters in from the back. And then they give you measurements from the other side, but once you get the first one in place, you can square it up and mark your hole with the other hole instead of trying to measure it out. If you try to measure out two holes with an exact measurement and then try to make something to it, you're very likely to get just barely off, just enough to piss you off. So I would get the first one in place and then mark the second hole and then drill it, which is what I'm going to do. They asked for a 4.5 millimeter bit. A lot of us don't have metric bits. I certainly don't. I'm using a 7/64, I think, which is slightly smaller than 4.5 millimeters. But that's fine because this is pretty soft plastic. Once I get the hole, I can screw that in and it'll be tight. And then it will go into these little makeshift, not makeshifts, but these little bracket nuts. They're threaded. Make sure you get the flat side against the back. This is a rounded side. It goes to the outside. Pretty simple. I just gotta get it measured out. I'm not going to show y'all how I'm doing that. I'm just going to use a tape measure, and I'm going to convert the millimeters, and we'll just get it as close as possible. And if I get it 1/10 of a millimeter off or 1/4 of a millimeter off, it's not going to make a huge difference. There's enough play. Directions say that these bolts are a T15. They're not. They're a T20. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a T20. It's perfect. So, just FYI, I'm sure a 15 will work, but door surrounds are on. Now, I believe the next step is going to be to put the bows into the top, and then the top should go on. All right, so the bow goes in there. Hold that for me.
I guess I'm aiming it right.
There's two little clips that clip into the end of the bows, or the bow. Holds it in, right there. And this one. This is when you need the fabric nice and warm to stretch. There we go. So the bow's in. Time to put it on. Put it on. The first thing we're gonna do is clip these in. You can see I've got those clipped in, both sides. You'll see how that fits just like a regular top around your surround. I don't have it clipped on the front yet. We got to tighten my sound bar back up to where I had to take it loose for the rugged ridge top. You got these straps. I would start from the back. I would latch the front, start from the back, strap it down tight, then do the middles. They say do the middles first, but I don't see how you could do that. Then do the middle and then clamp down the front. That's how I'm going to do it anyway. Of course, got to put the back window in. Like I said, it clips into this channel, and then it goes in with your regular tailgate bar. This has this aluminum bar right here. I will say, I mean, I'm very disappointed in that rugged ridge top because I liked it better. Although it didn't flip back, it was made out of heavier fabric, sailcloth. It was very nice. I like the pockets in it. And on these straps were much beefier. It used metal clips, whereas this Pavement Ends one has plastic. I can see that getting brittle over time and breaking. All in all, that just seemed like the better top. And it was very disappointing for that piece, which is still hanging here, to have broken like it did. I'm going to sew that back together and we'll see what happens. One arm tightening it. I was not tightening it too tight. I was not pulling it too hard. Just didn't work. All right, you should put both windows in at the same time. Start a little bit on one side, do a little bit, then go to the other side and do it. You should go ahead and get these put in first before you worry about any of the other parts. I haven't looked at the directions, I'm just assuming, but it's pretty intuitive if you've ever taken a Jeep top up or down. Fixing to go ahead and put the back window in place. There's a lot of Velcro, so it relies on Velcro a lot. So realistically, the only zippers you have are the back window sides and the top of the windows instead of the sides. The sides will wrap around and hook as opposed to a normal Jeep top. So once again, work both sides at the same time as you get it down through there, and you'll see all the Velcro. I went ahead and snapped the front end, went ahead and got these. One thing I am going to have to do, because of the way my roll bar sits, these side pieces sit higher than stock, which is going to raise this up a little bit and will possibly cause some puddling up here. And you can see where this is touching, and that's going to flap, and that's going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to have to get a bow made for the inside of this to keep that taut. I'll just make one. They're not hard to make. Windows go in normally. I didn't videotape any of that because if you've ever put in a Jeep window, it's pretty self-explanatory. Zip the top, push those in at the bottom, the little clips, and everything's in. And it's installed. But it does fit very tight. Not as tight as I thought it would be, but it does fit pretty tight. I like the way some of these double flaps work, but I'm fixing to take it for a ride. We'll see what happens. To flip it back, you just simply, see if I get this right, you flip that, pull these. Of course, it'll also be tighter when I fix my surrounds completely. Go around to the other side. And then you simply flip it back and it just lays back. And now you got a soft top. All right, so we're gonna go for a ride. We're gonna see how it does. So the verdict on Rampage, Rugged Ridge versus Pavement Ends is that the Rugged Ridge feels, looks, seems like the vastly superior top. Once again, it just comes down to attention to detail, I guess. The Pavement Ends, which is made by Best Top, made in Mexico, versus this one, which is made in China, just went on better and didn't break when I tried to put it on. That one broke. It seemed to fit better. It seemed to fit the top up here better. It seemed to do everything better except actually work. So for right now, we're going with the Pavement Ends. I am going to re-sew that little piece and get it fixed, and we'll see if it works better, because I do want to drive with both of them to see what it is, see how well they do. But for right now, it's going to be Pavement Ends by default, I guess. I do like those bigger windows. That's nice. And I like the flip top. It's going to be nice too. But guys, if you like the video, please subscribe. I will be doing a long-term review of this after I go to Florida and back. Thanks guys, have a good day.